أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وبه نستعين وما توفيقي إلا بالله عليه توكلت إليه أنيب أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, all thanks and glorification are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We thank Him for another opportunity to take lessons from the verses of the glorious Quran in this masjid of Federal University of Technology, Mina. Today, the 4th of Ramadan, 1446 years after the hijrah of An-Nabi, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, which is equivalent to the 4th of March, 2025. We are taking lessons from Surah Al-An'am, that is chapter 6 of the glorious Quran. Today we are going to continue from verse 154. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be our guide. Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ثم آتينا موسى الكتاب تماما على الذي أحسن وتفصيلا لكل شيء وهدى ورحمة لعلهم بلقاء ربهم يؤمنون.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ثم آتينا موسى الكتاب تماما على الذي أحسن وتفصيلا لكل شيء وهدى ورحمة لعلهم بلقاء ربهم يؤمنون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us the commands that is binding and compulsory on believers to take care of. We have mentioned these commands regarding the prohibitions as well as the obligations that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directed the human beings and the believers to take care of. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala followed it now with the message that He sent to Nabiuna Musa alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not left this dunya on its own and then allow human beings to continue to do whatever they want to do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent manual and sent a guide, prophets and messengers to invite human beings to the path that will lead them to success. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now said, ثُمَّ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابِ. Then regarding the Banu Israel, we now give Musa al-Kitab, the book. Meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the book as a guide to Nabiuna Musa alayhi salam. Which book was that? And that is At-Tawrah. Tamaman ay itmaman lil-na'am allati an'amna biha ala bani Israel. Tamaman ala alladhi ahsana. This as a completion, meaning to complete the favors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done to the children of Israel. The children of Israel were the people that Musa alayhi salam delivered from the kind of punishment and torture they were experiencing under Fir'aun. So they were the followers of Musa alayhi salam. But Musa alayhi salam, in his effort to guide the Banu Israel, they gave him a lot of headache. They will demand for this, they will demand for that. He will guide them to this, they will go on to this. And virtually most of the things they ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Nabiuna Musa alayhi salam, Allah usually grants them. But instead of them appreciating Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they used to go back to their ways of disrespecting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and disobeying Musa alayhi salam. So Allah ta'ala said He gave Musa the book At-Tawrah tamaman ala alladhi ahsana, to be a completion of the ni'mah, of the blessings of Allah, ala alladhi ahsana, ay ala man kana muhsinan wa salihan fi a'malihi. This to be part of the completion of the favors of Allah to the person or the one who remain a good person, meaning who continue to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do the righteous deeds. Ay ala alladhi ahsana wa tafsilan, and then the book to be a clear explanation, ay tafsilan ay tawdihan, لكل شيء clear explanation to everything. Everything. أي لكل شيء يحتاجون إليه في زمانهم. The book has in it all they needed regarding guidance of what they are confronting within their own time. Usually, the books that Allah Ta'ala revealed as revelation, they are revealed to guide the people that are living within that particular time or situation. Like Nabiuna Musa alayhi salam, principally Allah Ta'ala gave him a Torah to lead the Banu Israel and to guide them to be the torchlight for others that would like to follow the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore he was sent to deliver the children of Israel from Fir'aun. Then Nabiuna Isa alayhi salam, Jesus Christ also came. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him also the book, Al-Injil, for him to guide and to lead still the children of Israel. Because Nabiuna Isa, Jesus Christ, was sent only to them, as he was reported to have said, but I was not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And he said, for on that day, as recorded in the Bible, he said, for on that day you shall see the Son of Man sitting by the right hand of God, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel were the children of Yaqub that Nabiuna Isa was sent to because they disobeyed the Torah that was sent to Moses. So they were called the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So the good people among the Banu Israel, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said the Torah is a clear explanation لكل شيء into everything يحتاجون إليه في زمانهم وهدى, and also is a guide, ورحمة, and also is a mercy and rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala لعلهم بلقاء ربهم يؤمنون, so that they will increase and hold on to the faith and belief of meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning the Torah is to guide them to be able to follow the path that will lead them to earn the mercy and rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah mentioned three things here. He said tafsilan, wa hudan, wa rahmah. The book tafsilan is tawdihan, a clear explanation. Meaning the book sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to serve as document, as reference document for explanation. If things have gone, you are unable to understand what you are supposed to do, then refer back to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a reference point to explain to you what you need. And wahudan, it is a guide. It is a guide. It's not only for recitation. It is not only for you to make reference, but it should also guide you. It's like a manual that should guide you in respect to what you are to do. And also rahmah, it is a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because by obeying it, by following it, you earn the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent this. And then for them to take a Torah as a clear book of explanation to them regarding what they need to do, as a book of guidance, as a rahmah, Allah said, لَعَلَّهُمْ بِلِقَاءِ رَبِّهِمْ يُؤْمِنُونَ, so that this will lead them to believe that yes, they are going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if they meet Allah, they expect a reward from Him. And that is why following revelation, submitting yourself to revelation means you follow what Allah ta'ala wants you to do because you are hoping to get something from Allah, not from human beings. You are hoping to get a reward and acceptance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is why you follow the instructions of Allah ta'ala. So this is what Allah did to Nabiuna Musa alayhi salam and to the children of Israel. Then Allah said, وَهَذَا
كتاب أنزلناه مبارك فاتبعوه واتقوا لعلكم ترحمون.
Now back to Al-Quran. Because in Islam, you believe in all these revealed books that came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even though there are some changes, there are certain things added or a sort of deleted or changed or whatever, but the default is that these books were actually books sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now Al-Quran came, that was revealed to Nabiuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the final testament, the final book, the final revelation to guide the human being. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَهَذَا كِتَابٌ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مُبَارَكٌ. Then this book, which book? Al-Quran. أيوة هذا كتاب يعني القرآن. أنزلناه, we revealed it. Allah revealed the glorious Quran. Mubarakun, that is a blessed book. A book full of blessing. يعني كثير الخير والمنافع. The book of Quran contains a lot of benefits and a lot of goods that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent. So that all the deficiencies, all the other things that were related to obeying the other books revealed, the Quran have taken care of that. And that is why when Allah ta'ala revealed the Quran, He took it upon Himself to preserve it to the day of Al-Qiyamah, till the end of time, to preserve the book. You see, the blessings of the book, Al-Quran, started from Iqra, read. Started from reading, meaning started from knowledge, education, teaching, and learning. That's the beginning. Iqra, read. And it started from one person, Nabiuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Iqra, you should read. He read, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. From him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he confronted the challenges of his time, the challenges of Makkah, the challenges of Arabia, the challenges of the global world. And he started the teaching and the learning and the invitation and the preaching and the implementation. He started. Within the whole of Arabia, people that could read and write, you can count them with your fingertips. They are not much, they are very, very few. Before he left this dunya, he left huge population of learned, educated people that he has trained, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. After Rasul, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this Quran, he himself memorized it. As Jibril used to come to him to rehearse the glorious Quran, remember in Ramadan. And Rasul used to recite it in the presence of the Muslims that are following him in Salat. The companions memorized this glorious Quran. After Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam left this dunya, he left the Quran mostly in the memory of the followers, because they rely more on memory. They memorize it, and then that is how it is being preserved. At the time of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, when there was a problem that led to serious battle between dedicated Muslims and others that a sort of became murtadun. So in that particular war, about 70 memorizers of Quran were killed. 70 memorizers of Quran were killed. What will come to your mind is that Rasul that started from zero level of nobody as educated, he left people that 70 of them, highly respected one, memorized the entire Quran. They were killed. When they became killed, they were martyred, Umar bin Khattab came to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. He said, "Oh, the Khalifa of Rasul, I realized that there is need to keep the Quran in written. Let it be compiled. Let us not just rely on people memorizing. Because I foresee a time, if these memorizers are all dead, what will happen? There will be a lot of this." Abu Bakr said, "No, I can't do what the Prophet did not do, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet trained us to memorize Quran, we memorize it. And this is what he left us on. And the memorizers are all around." Umar said, "No, it is a good thing. It is a very good thing, because it will lead to this, and that." After a sort of explanation and going forth and back, Abu Bakr accepted a sort of advice of Umar bin Khattab. And from there, the issue of now compiling it as a single book under cover, from cover to cover, now came into being. Then from there, the companions, Ridwanullah alayhim ajma'in, not only put it into memory, but it is also written. And then memorization, teaching, recitation continued. Today, if you can Google, just Google and ask how many memorizers of Quran we have in the world today. There are over 200 million memorizers of Quran. Who memorize it, who can tell you letter by letter, word by word, dot by dot. There are those that counted, they only count the dots of Quran, the dots. Ba'un have 1 dot, ta'un has 2 dots, tha'un has 3 dots. This dot, they counted their number. The letters, alifun, ba'un, ta'un, tha'un, jimun, ha'un, kha'un. How many alifun are there in the whole Quran? How many ba'un are there in the whole Quran? How many ta'un are there in the whole Quran? And you take the words Allah, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. How many times did Allah appear in Quran? How many times Ar-Rahim appeared as Quran? You take word by word, letter by letter, alphabet by alphabet. People have put it into memory. And not only people that are adults or those that are Arabs, even those that could not even understand the meaning. Allah have made it easy. وَيَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. So you can go to a country and see people that cannot speak Arabic at all, but you get memorizers of Quran in their midst. You go and see children of 9 years old, 10, 11, 7 years old have put it into memory, memorize the entire book. So if today all pen and paper will cease to exist, all computers, anything that write or document will cease to exist, will disappear. The only book of the volume of Quran that you have 100% assurance it will remain as a Quran. Because even if the whole world will just wake up today and they say there is nothing, everything written have disappeared. If we lock ourselves in this masjid, inshallah we'll bring the Quran back here in this masjid. And the same so many places in the world. Is it not an ayah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This Quran is a rahmah. And is the Quran, we are talking about attitudinal change. Attitude. Is the Quran that changed the attitude, negative attitude of the then Jahiliyyah period, where you have people fighting for no just cause, for no reason, killing women, doing all kinds of evil things, promoting all kinds of atrocities. It is this Quran that changed them to become better people. You need to study the life story of the companions before they became Muslims and see how Quran changed them instantly. That was the time they were discussing, a lot of discussions. Sometimes they will sit down and discuss their life in Jahiliyyah and their life in Islam. When they discuss, they will be shaking their heads and they will remember the favors of Allah Ta'ala, the name of Islam. One of them said, among our idols that we used to prepare the idols, we prepared, I recall some of our idols. There was a time we prepared one idol that was made with dried meat, very beautiful one. He said, unfortunately, a year came. That year was the year of hunger. No food. So many things happening. I mean, people to eat. So one of them just look around and say, Kai, but this idol, at least, why can't I take something from it? He caught one of the hands of the idol and then went and ate it. I mean, so he was narrating the story. He was laughing. He said, oh, look at Jahiliyyah. Islam now came and changed all those things. There was the case of someone in Medina also after Rasul migrated. He said he remembered. I mean, when his children, after they accepted Islam, they came back home. They met their father with the idols. They called out from him to leave these particular idols. He was resisting and calling them and fighting them. They left him. So one of those days, they came now and took the idol silently in the night. When they took the idol, they tied the idol and then they went and threw it into the bush. He came, he searched for the idol, he searched, he couldn't. He was shouting. Then at the end, he went out, he saw the idol there. He picked it, he cleaned it, and cursed all those people that did this to his idol. He came back, prepared it, and kept it. After a while, the children came back. They did the same thing. He went back. Who is doing this thing to this thing? He cursed them. He went and searched for it. He returned it back. After a while, they came back. He now sat and said, this idol, can you protect yourself? Can't you protect yourself? Why should you allow all these things to be happening and I'm suffering? I mean, you see, these are ways you can send messages. You remember what Nabiuna Ibrahim did? Nabiuna Ibrahim, he came and met his people. There are people that are worshiping stars. They are worshiping so many other things. He now came and decided to draw their attention whether stars are qualified to be worshipped or the moon or the sun or whatever. They got their attention. At the end, when they left the town, he took all their idols and then destroyed all the idols and left the biggest one only. When they came back, they now saw, who destroyed all these their idols? But everybody have gone out. They said, Kai, Samina fatan yadhkuruhum yuqalu lahu Ibrahim. We remember there is one youth, there is one young person. His name is Ibrahim. He used to criticize this our idol. Go and call him. So they went and brought Ibrahim alayhi salam. When they brought him in the presence of the idol, said, "Anta fa'alta hadha bi alihatina ya Ibrahim." They all surrounded him, all very furious. They all surrounded. Are you the one that did this to our God? Ibrahim, did you destroy our God? He said, bal fa'alahu kabiruhum hada. Fas'aluhum in kanu yantiqun. He said, can't you see the biggest one standing? Why can't you ask him? You see the biggest one standing. Ask him, maybe he can explain who did all this kind of thing. They now begin to be looking at us and say, but they can't talk now. He said, okay. He has sent a message, isn't it? So this is, you can have wise ways. Through wisdom, you will send the message. And those that Allah Ta'ala wish to guide, they will pick the guidance. It is not all about fighting the person, quarreling the person, harassing the person. This is the person. You can talk to the mind, you can talk to the brain, you can talk to the intellect. So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala sent this Quran to be a guide. And Alhamdulillah, it's the same Quran that changed the companions from those kind of life. When Ja'far was sent together with the companions to leave Mecca out because of the torture they were facing. After migrating, the king of Abyssinia called them for them to explain what made them to follow the path of Rasulullah. I just caught the story because I know last year I gave the story. Ja'far started narrating. This person, we knew his background, we knew his family, we knew his upbringing, we know his honesty, we know all these things about him. He came to us. He met us in a life. We eat dead animal, we kill ourselves, we do all these things, we worship idols. He invited us and began by telling us so many things about worshiping Allah, about respecting our neighbors, about being kind to ourselves, about avoiding bloodshed, about all these things. We had this message from him, we followed him. And we see the change in ourselves. But our people were not comfortable. So they followed us, were torturing us, were making life difficult for us. And that is why we left our people and then migrated to your land. So the issue here, the subject here is narrating their situation before Islam and their situation after Islam. Islam came to change people. When the companions became reformed and they changed, they now handed over this message to the Tabi'in. And then the Tabi'in, they delivered this message to Atba'u Tabi'in. And gradually it came. That is how even the ashkal of Quran, the way it is written like this, in terms of the beautiful dot and line and this, we are all based on improvement on how the recitation can be simpler and easier to people. So it has followed through these transformations to make the recitation easier. Otherwise, at the earlier beginning, the Arabs, their writing is not like this. For example, when you say, Qul huwa Allahu ahad, and Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falak, and Qul a'udhu bi rabbil nas, the Qul, that Qul, is the same way they write, no dots. Do you get the point? And then the same thing if they said, Fi sabilillah, for example, the same, no dot of fa. So it was later they say, well, but we are meeting people that are not Arabs. People that are not this. There is need to differentiate for this so that they can be able to identify the difference between this and this and this. That was what brought about the issue of recitation with tajweed and then explanation in tajweed and then so many other ways so that you can maintain the recitation as it was at the time of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Atba'u Tabi'in, regarding the Sharia also, this Sharia they continue to build from what they learned from Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The same Quran, but the situation and the circumstances vary. What you come to see at the time of Atba'u Tabi'in may not be the same at the time of the Sahaba. But then they use what they knew from the Quran as a guide and then build upon that to solve the problem that is coming. This is how they continued. Even after the companions finished, the Tabi' finished, the Atba'u Tabi'in finished, and others finished, Muslims continued to building on this gradually. It came to the time of Ma'mun. The time of Ma'mun, that was the time Islam spread to so many parts of the world. You talk of Africa, you talk of India, you talk of Russia, you talk of so many places Islam has gone. So, and from there were this Greek philosophy and so many other related knowledge that belongs to the Greek or that was initiated by the Greek. And you remember also the kind of civilization that was there in Egypt. And all this, the Muslims now came into contact with all this, never destroyed knowledge, but rather what they did was to build upon that. So Ma'amun now built a house that is called Baytul Hikmah. Baytul Hikmah, that was the first largest library that was built. Baytul Hikmah, the house of wisdom. And there, translation started, translating everything. Anything that come your way as Muslim, just translate it, learn it, everything. Muslims started to be building on that. That is how contributions in various areas of human endeavor, in sciences, in humanities, in what. That was when Europe was in dark ages. When you talk about the golden age of Islam, contribution in various fields of learning, in mathematics, in physics, in medicine, in optics, in astronomy, in all areas of learning. When you talk of geometry, when you talk of algebra, when you talk of all this, most of these things come from the Arabic letters, Arabic words, because Arabic is now the national language of the Muslims. Even if the person is not an Arab, but he became a Muslim, the Arabic language now become, because that is the national language. So there are some, they were not actually Arabs, but because they were Muslims, they communicate in the Arabic language, which is the language of Islam. So you see a lot of contributions in sciences. Like now, some say any chemical or anything you see with alkaline, alcohol, all they are Arabic terms. They are from the definiteness of that aliful la'u, the definite article of in Arabic language. So what we are saying here is that this Quran was the beginning of that changed from the beginning, and then changing their attitude, changing their thinking, changing their psychology, changing their way of life, and they imparted on the community and the society. You need to study golden age of Islam and the dark ages in Europe, and then you will see how Islamic sciences and knowledge were later on used to benefit Europe and other parts of the world. Before the issue of so many things happening in the Muslim world, their books were even destroyed because people don't value books, those that conquer the Muslims at a point, division among Muslims, argument among Muslims, attention to flimsy things, this and that, and then let this particular legacy to be lost. And today, most of what we are doing today is telling ourselves about that past history. What are we building upon today? Because our predecessors built on what they met. Now, if we are now collecting or getting from our predecessors, what are we building for others to come and meet? That is what should be worrying us. What is your contribution? Not only saying that, yes, Muslims were this, yes, we were this, yes, we are that. So what? What are you now doing today? That today, if people are making references to invasions and other things, we begin to feel as if there are no Muslims in the contribution of all this. May Allah Ta'ala assist us. So Quran, Allah Ta'ala sent it and He said now, وَهَذَا where are we? وَهَذَا كِتَابٌ, this book, that is Al-Quran, Allah Ta'ala said, أَنزَلْنَاهُ مُبَارَكٌ. That's what I'm explaining, right? We revealed it as a blessed book, a book full of blessing, but only if you can use it. So nothing stops us from changing also the situation we are living today for the better, if only you can go back to the Quran. If only you can go back to the teachings of the Quran, we can be able to do that. As I mentioned in our platform, we have created a platform. I hope those of you that are not there, you can join this platform. We call it ICIT, Islamic Scholars and Experts Community Initiative for Development in Nigeria. It's a registered organization with corporate affairs, and it cuts across all the country. We are admitting Islamic scholars and experts, professors, professionals, and business people that are known to be experts in their area. We are coming together as a platform together so that we can confront our situation. Nobody can solve our problems other than ourselves. Nobody can do it for us. Accusing others, they are the cause of our problem. This one have done this to all, this one can't change anything. So we need to change and that's why our first presentation we started with attitudinal modeling. We discuss a lot, and inshallah, we are starting a lot of things. I pray Allah Ta'ala will be with us. We need to understand, like yesterday, I was talking about understanding the Islamic system, the brief Islamic system, and then we now, within that Islamic system, we now see how to improve ourselves, our community, for our dunya and for our akhirah. Islam is straightforward, but sometimes we complicate things among ourselves, and then we remain arguing on some other things. Some of those things are only to be retarding us back instead of pushing us forward. May Allah assist us. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Anzalnahu Mubarakun. Fattabi'uhu. You should follow it. Follow what? Follow what? The Quran. Fattabi'uhu. You know when Allah Ta'ala mentioned about the commandment, He said, Wa anna hadha sirati mustaqima. This is my straight path. Follow this path. Wa la tattabi'u subula. Fatafarraqa bikum an sabili. Do not create sects and branches and groups, dividing yourselves, and then dividing yourself, you forget about that correct path. Kullu hizbin bima ladayhim farih. Everyone is just proud of his own sect. Everyone is just proud of his own group. Everyone is just proud of this and that, rather than holistically looking at Islam. Rather than looking straight way, this is what Islam needs. Yes, we can be divided in understanding. My understanding might not be the same with yours. The way I look at things might be different from the way you look at things. The way you understand things may be different from the way I understand things. The way I want to implement this may be different from the way you want to. But then the broader umbrella of Islam should unite us all together in order for us to achieve that particular goal. وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُلَ فَتَفَرَّقَ بِكُمْ عَنْ سَبِيلِهِ ذَلِكُمْ وَصَّاكُمْ بِهِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So the same thing here, Allah Ta'ala said, فَاتَّبِعُوا. Follow the Quran. وَاتَّقُوا أي وَاتَّقُوا الْكُفْرَ. You should avoid, save yourself from kufr. And you know kufr, the word kufr started from what? A sort of rejection. I mean, a sort of being ungrateful. Be grateful to Allah, accept Him. Appreciate Allah and follow Him, and that's Islam. But when you take to kufr, then you are taken to rejecting Allah, not appreciating Allah, not appreciating the favors of Allah, not recognizing what Allah Ta'ala has done to you. So, wattaqu al-kufra, wattaqu ghadab Allah. Try to save yourself from the anger of Allah. Anywhere Allah Ta'ala said, Allah do not like those that are doing this and that. Avoid all those kind of things. Hold on to those things that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala asks you to hold. If you do that, لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ, so that you can earn the rahmah of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. You can earn the rahmah of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. How do you earn the rahmah of Allah? Hold on to this teaching. As we said, which yesterday I said, I will repeat today. The entire system of Islam, the brief about the entire system of Islam. Yesterday we mentioned the life of a Muslim revolves around three things, right? What did I say? What can you remember? Obligations and what? Prohibitions and what? The permissibles, right? The obligations, the prohibitions, the permissibles. And they are not many, especially the obligations and the prohibitions. The permissibles are the ones that are so vast. The default is that anything you do to benefit yourself is permissible. That's the default. Unless if there is a clear instruction from Allah that it is not permitted. That is when you say, okay, you know, but the default is that everything is permissible as much as it is beneficial. So it means we have vast area to tap. We have vast area to go and do so many things. Whereas the prohibitions as well as the obligations, we learn that through the interactions of Rasul and through what the commandments here came in. One of the interactions of Rasul we mentioned, where he mentioned 12, was when Jibril visited him, isn't it? Jibril visited him and he explained the 12 points. The 5 articles of faith, the 6 pillars of Islam, 5 pillars of Islam, the 6 articles of faith, and then Al-Ihsan. This now makes the 12 most compulsory obligation that you have to hold on to. Then there are lesser obligations. But this one makes you to be a Muslim. And that is why when Jibril came and asked Rasul, Akhbirni anil Islam, Akhbirni anil Iman, Akhbirni anil Ihsan. After Rasul mentioned all these things, he asked the companion, do you know the visitor? They said they don't know him. He said, he is Jibril. He came لِيُعَلِّمَكُمْ دِينَكُمْ. He came to teach you your religion. Meaning this is a religion. He came to teach you your religion. Not to go into digression again and so many things, to teach you your religion. And in one instance also, I want to read also another thing. It's a hadith. Mu'adh bin Jabal also came to explain the summary of what Islam is. One, Jibril came in the form of angel, and Rasul explained. One interaction. Another interaction took place also for Rasul to explain Islam. So one companion, Mu'adh bin Jabal, he came to Rasul. He said, قُلْتُ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ أَخْبِرْنِي بِعَمَلٍ يُدْخِلِنِي الْجَنَّةَ وَيُبَعِدْنِي عَنِ النَّارِ. He now came to Rasul. He said, oh, the messenger of Allah, tell me something I will do that will take me farther away from hell and closer to Al-Jannah. Guide me. What will I do to be admitted into Jannah? What will I do to take me away from hellfire? Then Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, قَالَ لَقَدْ سَأَلْتَ عَنْ عَظِيمٍ وَإِنَّهُ لَيَسِيرٌ عَلَى مَنْ يَسَّرَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. The Prophet said, indeed, you have asked something that is very big. You have asked a very big question. You know when Jibril came and said, tell me about Islam, right? Rasul mentioned Islam. Tell me about Iman. Rasul mentioned, tell me about Islam. Now, human being now, a companion came, tell me what will I do to save me from hell and to grant me admission into Jannah. Just tell me what to do. The Prophet said, لَقَدْ سَأَلْتَ عَنْ عَظِيمٍ. You have asked a very big question. But وَإِنَّهُ لَيَسِيرٌ. It is very easy. عَلَى مَنْ يَسَّرَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. To the person that Allah made it easy for him. It's very easy. Listen to me. تَعْبُدُ اللَّهِ لَا تُشْرِكْ بِهِ شَيْئًا وَتُقِيمَ الصَّلَاةَ وَتُؤْتِيَ الزَّكَاةَ وَتَصُومَ رَمَضَانَ وَتَحُجَّ الْبَيْتِ. Do you want to enter paradise and away from hell? Worship Allah and never associate partner to Allah. Establish your salat. Give the zakat. Fast the month of Ramadan. Go for Hajj if you have the means. This is that. Then Rasul now said to Mu'adh, ثُمَّ قَالَ أَلَا أَدُلُّكَ عَلَىٰ أَبْوَابِ الْخَيْرِ. But shouldn't I guide you to the windows and doors that will open so many good things to you so that you can live a honorable and responsible Muslim? He said, Na'am bala ya Rasulallah. Oh, the Messenger of Allah, tell me those things. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, As-sawmu junnatun was-sadaqatu tatfi'u al-khati'a kama yutfi'u al-ma'u an-nara. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, okay, apart from all this, remember one thing. As-sawmu junnatun. Fasting is a shield, it's a protection. Fasting is a shield and it's a protector. Hold on to that. It will protect you against so many other things. You know what? Fasting is a pillar that teaches people the meaning of patience and perseverance. The meaning of patience. Without patience, you can't be able to do so much in this dunya. So fasting is a very big shield and it's a protection. Then, as-sadaqatu tutfi'ul khati'a kama yutfi'ul ma'un nara. Sadaqah, show care to the less privileged, assisting others, empowering others. This is what will quench hellfire, quench your sin, will wipe away your shortcomings. In the same way, if there is fire, you take water, it will quench it. That is how sadaqah will quench your own mistakes and sin. Meaning, after holding on to the 5 pillars of Islam, you should always bear in mind the meaning of patience. At least you are observing fasting. And you should also be guided by showing care and concern to others. It is true that Allah will wipe away some of your shortcomings. Then he now said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, وَالصَّلَاةُ الرَّجُلُ فِي جَوْفِ اللَّيْلِ. And then the salat of a person in the midnight, he recited a book of the glorious Abbas of the glorious Quran, تَتَجَافَى جُنُوبُهُمْ عَنِ الْمَضَاجِعِ, to the end. Salat in the night is a key training and very good link that link you between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do not joke with salat. Then, ثُمَّ قَالَ, the Prophet said, أَلَا أُخْبِرُكَ بِرَأْسِ الْأَمْرِ وَعُمُودِهِ وَذِرْوَةِ سَنَامِهِ. You hold to the 5 pillars of Islam. I guide you to what will lead you to benefit from so many other good things. Shouldn't I guide you again? أَلَا أُخْبِرُكَ بِرَأْسِ الْأَمْرِ. With the head of the affair. The head of the affair. What matters most. And then وَعُمُودِهِ, and the pillars. وَذِرْوَةَ سَنَامِهِ, and the peak of it. Shouldn't I guide you to understand this? قُلْتُ بَلَا يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. Mu'adh said, indeed, guide me to that. قال, the Prophet ﷺ said, رَأْسُ الْأُمُورِ الْإِسْلَامِ. The peak, the head of everything is Islam. The head of everything is what? Islam. Because without Islam, everything is null and void. So Islam. And then, وَأُمُودُهُ as-salat. What's the pillar that holds it? As-salat. Prayers. Prayer is what holds your Islam. Prayer is what should hold your whole life. And وَزِرْوَةِ سَنَامِهِ al-jihad. And then the peak, what will show its beauty anywhere, is jihad. That is what will show its beauty anywhere. Where people will benefit, where the message will be sent, where evil things will be quenched, destroyed, where that is jihad. So you see the total picture of al-Islam. Then then the Prophet said to Mu'az, أَلَا أُخْبِرُكَ بِمَلَاكِ ذَلِكَ كُلِّهِ. After telling you all this about Islam, should I not tell you about the rope? The rope that tied all this one together. What controlled all this? The nucleus. Shouldn't I tell you? He said, what the Messenger of Allah tell me? فَأَخَذَ بِلِسَانِهِ. The Prophet hold and said this. The Prophet do that. Look at me. He said this. He hold this one. What is this? Huh? What is this? The tongue. The Prophet said, this is what matters. Meaning the tongue can destroy all those things. What you say, the way you talk, the way you communicate, the way you address people, the way you talk with people, can destroy them, can build them. With one word, you can destroy a town. With one word, you can also build. So your tongue, hold it. And that is why Mu'az said, so Rasulullah said, Kuffa alayka hadha. Take care of this. Take care of your tongue, your speeches, your utterances, your talk. And including your writings, this. They are all part of it. Take care of your speech. So Mu'az says, Ya Nabi Allah, inna la mu'akhaduna bima natakallamu bihi. So the Messenger of Allah, even our speeches, Allah will hold us responsible, even with our talks. The Prophet says, Sakilatka ummuka. Look at you. Is there anything that destroys people much more than what they say? So look at this. This is Islam. Meaning, if you want to be a Muslim, the simple way, and that summary, what summarized Islam, is not more than all this we are mentioning. The 12 key and important obligations. Remember the prohibitions we have mentioned. We have mentioned 12 prohibitions, isn't it? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in these 12 commandments. And then you take care of this, your tongue. You promote good in the community, you do this. Then the permissibles are many. Permissibles are divided also into two. The permissibles. The permissible thing that will help you to do the obligations. Those permissible things can also be added to rewardable things that will earn you reward. For example, mere eating. Eating is halal, it's just permissible, but you eat because you want to get strength in order to go and do something good for Islam. That eating become ibadah. So permissible that will help you to do good thing, that permissible also earn you a reward. Then permissible for enjoyment, just for your body, for relaxation, is also allowed in Islam. I just want to sleep, I'm tired, that's all. I just want to eat these beautiful things, just as for me to feel the test, that's all. Allah allowed it. But then it may not add you reward if you have not intended that thing you want to do something that is beneficial. Do you get that? So this is what will make the entire Islam. If we hold on to this, we will have a lot of things that we will now try to change in our attitudes, this. And from there, Islam will benefit from us, the Ummah will benefit from us, and the world at large will benefit from our Islam. But imagine all these things mentioned. Some are not after this. You go to some other smaller things, you magnify those small things, and then you make them the subject of attention of everybody. And it becomes a cause of division among ourselves, quarrel among ourselves, accusation, suspicion. We have reached a level that many among people are suspecting one another. You'll be suspecting, does this one belong to my group? It appears he's not in my group. Is this one belonging to my sect? It appears he's not in that. Suspicion. And there is no community that suspicion will be in it that community will progress. Any community that live on that, suspecting one another, that community will never progress. Confidence in one another is what makes a society to be built. It's what makes a society to progress. And that is what Islam came to promote. So I pray Allah Ta'ala sisters. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, follow this فَاتَّبِعُوهُ وَاتَّقُوا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ, so that you can earn the rahmah and mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm shown very close time, and I think it's better I stop here so that I attend to questions and answers. Tomorrow, inshallah, we'll start from the next verse. But the summary of what we have said today is to add on those things we have mentioned earlier. We need to change a lot regarding our attitude. Attitudinal issues are issues that we need to confront in our community and society. The society is crumbling gradually in our hands, under our watch. Things are happening. Look at how insecurity, look at how poverty, look at how our youth, look at how our family, look at how our economy, look at how our, so many things in our hands. The Quran that guided the companions in few number to influence the whole world is the same Quran with us. Is the same Quran with us. The companions, all the companions of Rasul, it has been recorded in Sirah that they are not up to 500,000. They are somewhere within the range of 250-something thousand. People like Ibn Asir and people like this that recorded the names of the companions. They were not more than this particular number that Rasul left in this dunya. They were the ones that influenced the changes, that continue to influence changes in the world that today we are enjoying. And today, how many Muslims are we in the world today? Remember, just as I was saying, the glorious Quran alone, we are talking of about 200 million people that memorize Al-Quran. But do you know that among the companions of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, very few memorize it? Very few memorize Quran. What makes them to be different with us with the Quran is that all of them implement Quran. All of them implement Quran. Few memorize it. And then few are the teachers that teaches it. The teachers of Quran are few, the memorizers are few, but the implementers are all. Then how about in our own case? So I don't know, between the memorizers and the implementers, between those that say, yes, I have the Quran, and those that say, come and see Quran in me. You talk Quran, you behave Quran, people see Quran in you. When Aisha was asked about the Rasul, who is Rasul? How can I say, look at the Quran. Once you see Quran, you see Rasul. Because anything you see the Quran said, Rasul will implement it before any other person. And anything you see Quran warning people to distance themselves away from that, Rasul will run away from that before any other person. That is Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And that were the companions that learned from him. So the people that usually bring change are not the people that talk much, but they are the people that act more. The people that implement are the people that bring change, not the people that discuss and argue and talk. Even policies, you can come up with beautiful policies, but how about implementing those policies? Executing those particular policies? Those are the issues. We can talk beautifully about the solutions of Nigerian problems, the solutions of the Muslim Ummah problems. The solutions are there, piled in books, researches. But how much of all this have been implemented even for a while? And implemented with the sincerity that is expected. Not implemented for a particular reason, maybe political reason. Maybe you want to get vote, you want to be elected, you want to use that to win people back to your side, you want to do this and that. No, with all honesty and sincerity. Even countries and nations that develop, they used to have long years of plan. Isn't it, our profs? It's not just one day plan. Maybe just this leader will come and then he wants to do everything just for himself. No. A plan that people can come and key in. Long years. When we talk about what is our long-term plan as Muslim Ummah in Nigeria? For the next 10 years, what do we want to achieve? For the next 20 years? Or 30 years? Okay, let's come back. For the next 5 years, what have we put our plan? For the next 5 years, this is what we want to achieve for the next 5 years. And then we'll follow it diligently. What is it? For the next 3 years, for the next 2 years, how about for the next 1 year? Probably our plan sometimes used to be maybe we don't want to lose election, we want to win the election. Then if you win the election, what will you do with the catch? Assuming you win the election, you are now elected, then what next? What will you do with it? If you can't do anything with it, what is its value? What's the value of you becoming leader and then you don't use the leadership? It becomes a problem. What's the value of what you get if you don't use it? Or if you get something, others come and benefit and use it and then to their own benefit. And then you are there as if you go ahead. What's the value? So we need to strategize. We need to plan. We need to look at all these things as Muslims. But we bring so many things. And that's why I'm talking about this issue of let's de-emphasize this issue of sectarian divide. Let's try to minimize all these kind of things and magnify those things that will help us as an ummah to grow. Our tribal sentiments, our regional sentiments, our divides. I belong to this tribe, I belong to this region, I belong to this color, I belong to all these things. Did you purchase it yourself? You just wake up and find yourself, you are there, like that. Allah who created you like that say, I have not created you like that to go and quarrel and fight, but for you to know one another. But the person that is highest in nobility, in whatever to me, is the person that fear Allah. Whoever, whatever tribe he belongs to. So I pray Allah Ta'ala assist us and guide us and be with us. May Allah Ta'ala unite us for good and guide us to straight path. Inshallah, we'll attempt the questions that were sent to me. I think this question was since last, I forgot before, but now I've seen the question. He now said, Assalamu alaikum. The fight between Palestine and Israel. What is here? Okay, that the Jews claim that according to Old Testament, they own all the land up to the Red Sea, and they want to claim it as their own land. Is there any proof in the Holy Quran of their claim? Ramadan Kareem. If I say there is proof of what will it add you in solving our problems here? I don't know whether, and what will it reduce you when you have immediate problems in your own land? Yes. The concern should be the life that is being lost there, unnecessary killings, wasting life, destroying property, sending people from their homes, this and this. You will have asked me a question whether is this right? Whether you own a land or you do not own the land, do you get the point? The question to be asked is what you are doing with that land, is it right? Is it correct for you to go and kill because you are claiming the land belongs to you? And after all, who are the Jews? The Banu Israel, who are they? Who are the Palestinians? And what is that particular land of Palestine? You remember the 12 tribes of Israel. In fact, who is Israel? Who is Israel? Israel is Yaqub, isn't it? And Yaqub came from Ibrahim, isn't it? What you should ask yourself, before Yaqub, was there that land? I don't know whether you get the question. These people are the children of Yaqub. They derive their name from Yaqub. So before Yaqub, that land, was that land there or it was not there? All religious texts, including the Bible and Quran, confirm that there are people called the Canaanites. The Canaanites were there before the Israelites, before the coming of Abraham. The Canaanites. Abraham migrated and came to that particular land. And when Abraham came to that particular land, the children of Abraham all can lay claim to that particular land. And the children of Abraham are both the children of Ishmael and the children of Ishaq. Ismail and... So the children of Ishmael are who? They are the Arabs. They are all children of who? Ibrahim. But Ibrahim came to the land and met the Canaanites. Who are the Canaanites? Go back and search about Philistine, the name Philistine. That name Philistine have been in existence for before the advent of Christ and Moses for long years. Philistine, that name. And the Canaanites. In fact, the migration, I think this is a very long history and story, a lot. Because the dunya, the world as you see it, has been built based on migrations. People migrating from one place to the other. That's, if now everybody will now go back and say it, You are claiming things related to migration. Where will people now stay in this dunya? Because virtually many places people are living today, they came because of migration. It's like the case of Nigeria now, claiming a state, claiming this and that. Sometimes I used to say, like for myself, I'm a Hausa by tribe, right? But I lay claim to about 5 states in this country, in the northern part, that I have parents, I have relations, I have family, I have roots. Now, to begin to be fighting this particular person because he just came to that particular land, it doesn't sound reasonable. So probably we may go back to history, maybe if we have time, to discuss about that particular land itself. Who are those people that migrated from that land? There's a link between Turkey, Egypt, Palestine, the land of Canaanites, and that make up that particular land. And the few tribes that were known to be living in that they have never left that particular place throughout history. Because what Islam did was when Islam came, they accepted Islam. If you go to the Bible, you realize that the Canaanites mostly are referred to as idol worshippers. They are referred to as the enemies of Israel, children of Israel when they came, the Canaanites. But then apart from that, there are other smaller tribes within that particular region and area. Well, because this is a kind of impromptu question or whatever, but these things has to do with history. And whatever historical issues you want to lay claim to, you have no right to go and kill innocent life. Children and women and people that have not committed any crime against you, other than you came and made their land. And then you go back, you need to find out the present state of Israel itself. Whether even those particular people that are called Israelites are actually the ones that are there now. This is another story for another time. Do you get that? Before the creation of that particular place now called Israel in 1940, I've forgotten the year, 1940 something, 46 or 48, 40 something, around that particular distance. Before the creation of the present state of Israel, where were they? And remember, if you go back to history, during the Ottoman Empire, when the whole of that particular land was under the Muslims, both the Jews, followers of Judaism, and the Christians and the Muslims were all having protection of the Islamic Empire, the Ottoman Empire. In fact, in history narrated that there were no religious people that granted asylum and protection to Jews like the Muslims. Like the Muslims. And you can search and find out from the history. So I pray Allah assist us. So I think this question is not much about whether they should lay the claim of this land or the other, but the issue is that the unnecessary bloodshed and the killings and destructions of resources and property cannot be justified by all means. Allahu Akbar. This verse in Malam. Look at you. Okay. This time up. So sorry, we are going to stop here because we are working with time. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll continue from where we stopped and even address the other questions we are unable to answer. اللهم اعز الاسلام والمسلمين اللهم اعز الاسلام والمسلمين واذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر اعداء الدين وانصر عبادك الموحدين اللهم ربنا اتم لنا نورنا واغفر لنا انك على كل شيء قدير لا تدع لنا ذنبا الا غفرته ولا هما الا فرجته ولا دينا الا قضيته ولا مريضا الا شفيته ولا ميتا الا رحمته ولا مبتلا الا عافيته ولا حاجه من حوائج الدنيا والاخره الا قضيتها برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين ربنا ظلمنا انفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبارك على محمد وآل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون سلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين